Today, we're looking back at 2023 market trends and head to 2024 market predictions as I undecorate my Christmas tree. In 2023, 370 single-family homes sold in the city of Fond du Lac, while in 2022, 510 homes sold in the city of Fond du Lac. So if you do the math, that's a difference of 140 less houses. Okay, so think about that. 140 less houses. That means competition stayed high and so did prices. Nationally, 2023 was the year to have the least amount of home sales since 2008, aka the Great Recession. Each month in 2023, I tracked the median home price for the city of Fond du Lac. So then, now at the end of the year, what I did was I looked at the median of all of the medians of the year. And it ended up being 197.5. And then what I also did was I took the medians of all the months and I averaged them out, and that ended up being 197. So very similar there in what I came out to. So what I'm trying to tell you here is for the city of Fond du Lac in the year 2023, a middle of the road home, a medium priced home, was $197,000 for the city of Fond du Lac. Now let's compare to 2022. So in 2022, when I put all 12 months data together and I did the median of that, the median home price for 2022 was $169,000. Now, I also did the same thing where I averaged them all out, and that came out to $170,000. So let's look at the difference here from 2022 to 2023. So if it was 170 in 2022 and it was 197 in 2023, that means a median home price went up $27,000. So it was almost $30,000 more expensive to buy a middle of the road home in the city of Fond du Lac in 2023 than it was in 2022. In 2023, how many homes sold at or above list price? Well, when we look back to January of 2023, the market wasn't actually that hot. So at the end of 2022, I was writing offers at an 8% interest rate. And so it was similar to the end of 2023, where interest rates were high. So 33% of homes were selling at or above list price in January of 2023, which was the lowest amount that sold at or above asking price all year long. The holidays and winter also play a role in January being slower. So we saw an uptick February through April, where 50 to 60% of houses were selling at or above asking price. What's important to know is Silicon Valley Bank collapsed in March of 2023. And that's when we saw a drop in interest rates, which then impacted our sales continuing to go up, as well as seasonal uptick in prices and home selling as well. In May and June, 70-something% of homes sold at or above list price. And in July and August, 80-something% of homes sold at or above list price. In September and October, about 70% of homes were selling at or above asking price. In November, that went down to about 60%. And then in December, that went down to about 51%. And that was on a curve downward. Also, rates were close to 8% again in the fall. And then we have the seasonal slowdown in the holidays as well that impact us at the end of the year. Today, were in the upper sixes or so. So when we look at 2023, it was a hill, really. It started with a smaller percentage selling at or above. It went up and it came back down again. And this really is actually nothing new because buyers face less competition in the winter and actually probably get houses for less in fall and winter, where sellers see more activity and more buyers and get more for their houses in spring and summer. Not a new concept. So what did price reductions look like in 2023? Well, kicking the year off, in January and February, a little bit over a third of homes that sold were taking price reductions. By March, it was a little bit under a third. Then, once we look at April all the way through October, it was 15% or so or less of homes that were taking price reductions. Once we got to November, it was a little bit over a third again of homes taking price reductions, and December was a little bit under a quarter of homes taking price reductions. So really, when we look at the whole year, it's kind of that bell curve again, where it was more taking price reductions in the beginning, less through that April to October, and then more taking them again at the end of the year. So how long did it take houses to get offers? Well, in 2023, 62% of homes in the city of Fond du Lac that sold accepted an offer in around 1 week or less. And then 87% of homes accepted an offer in 1 month or less in the city of Fond du Lac. So that means only 13% of homes in the city of Fond du Lac in 2023 took over 1 month to accept an offer. Other than January of 2023, median days on market was in the 30s and 40s all of 2023. What was our inventory trend for 2023? How many houses were on the market at a time? Well, January through May, there was about 50-something houses on the market at a time. Then, in June, it was about 60-something houses on the market. And that continued an upward trend all the way through November into the 80s. In December, it was back down to about 60. So really, we saw more inventory on the market in the second half of the year. Also, just a reminder that I pull that data at the beginning of the next month. So that is a little bit delayed, but it's still showing you that there was the most amount of inventory in the second half of 2023. So let's recap our City of Fond du Lac 2023 housing trends. In 2023, 25% less homes sold than in the year 2022. Also, if you are looking to buy a median priced home in 2023, it costs you $30,000 more than it did in 2022. Next, in May through October, 70% of homes that sold at or above list price. In April through October of 2023, only 15% of the homes that sold took price reductions. Also, in 2023, 62% of the homes that sold accepted an offer in about 1 week or less, while 87% of homes accepted an offer in about 1 month or so. Median days on market was in the 30s and 40s all of 2023, and inventory was higher in the second half of the year. Now, I'm going to talk to you about national trends. So every year I watch a summit that's put on by the National Association of Realtors, and I try to take the most useful nuggets and be able to share them with you. New construction was up in 2023, but existing home sales were down. Also, something interesting to note is that there was the most apartment complex construction that there had been since the 1980s. Then let's talk about inflation. The Fed has a target of 2% inflation rate, and we're getting there. We're in the threes for our percentage. Now, that has impacted the Fed with how they are handling rates. And as we look ahead here at 2024, economists have pretty similar predictions. Right now, we are in the high sixes for our interest rates. And basically, every economist out there was saying that even if rates are going to get slashed, they're probably going to continue to hold in the sixes. But if for some reason it's not working, there's the expectation that it could tighten right back up and interest rates could go back up again. But if it is holding steady and flat, it will likely stay in the sixes. So I just don't want you to get too excited because you may have heard that the Fed is going to cut interest rates. But we're looking at, 6.75 to maybe 6.4, 6.3, 6.5. We're not looking at 6.75 to 4 or 3%. That's not happening. It's just probably going to be this range within the sixes. The summit showed price appreciation by state from Q1 of 2020 to Q3 of 2023. And this is gonna be pretty crazy here. But when you look at Wisconsin, it was 47.5%. Now, this is the state as a whole, and your specific house could be a little different. So just talk to your expert real estate agent to find out what the appreciation for your specific house has been. For our first-time home buyers in 2023, 40% of them put down 0 to 5%. So this is just my plug to remind you, as a first-time home buyer, you don't have to put 20% down. In fact, 40% of them in 2023 put down 0 to 5%. But what I do want you to know is when you get out there in this competitive market, the bigger down payment you do have, it will help you more in a competitive offer situation. More homes are expected to hit the market in 2024. But that lock-in effect is also expected to continue. So what do I mean by that? Those people have their 2 to 3% interest rates locked in, and they just don't want to go to a higher priced home with a higher interest rate like 6%, so they decide to stay put and remodel or put on an addition or just hold out for another couple years. So that lock-in effect will continue. However, that lock-in effect is going to end for some people. People have been dealing with this since 2020. So back in 2020, when things started to really get crazy for the first time, there were people out there saying, you know what, I'm just gonna hang out until prices come back down. So even if somebody's in their first house and they're waiting to move to their second house, and they weren't just gonna wait until prices came back down. But then what happened? Then interest rates went up. And then those people were saying, I'm just gonna wait until the interest rates come back down. Well, here we are in 2024, 4 years later, and interest rates and prices are both higher than they were in 2020. So we are coming off of our peak though. We're past our peak in pricing, past our peak in interest rates, or at least what it is appearing to be. And because of that, the dust has settled a little bit, and people aren't going to be patient forever. They are feeling okay, this is the new normal, and they are just accepting it, coming to terms with it, and I think we will see more people moving in 2024. What were some other notable plugs from the 2023 summit? I would say the first one is the apology to the millennials. It was basically, we're so sorry that you are in this environment to buy your first house. You've got your student debt, prices are high, interest rates are high, and we're just sorry that this is the market that you entered into to buy your first house. They also talked about how costs for materials have come down, but the cost of labor has gone up. And one of the reasons for the cost of labor going up is because there is a real labor shortage out there. So we are in need of skilled workers. And I just want to tell anyone who's already in a field and would consider it, or high schoolers, there is no shame in going into the trades. It's less school, you can make a good living, you can work with your hands. It is something that is worth being proud of. And I think our society got so focused on this 4-year degree is the only way. But I'm here to tell you that the trades are a great way to go. And if we want to help this housing shortage and this housing crisis, we need you. We need our high schoolers. We need the younger generation to get interested and get into the trades, because we have people retiring out and we aren't filling that. And that is one of our sectors where there is so much need and so little going into it. And that is also why I am on the Young Leaders Breakfast Committee for the Young Professionals of Fond du Lac. And that has been one of my big pushes on that committee, is to make sure that we are representing the skilled trades and letting our high schoolers know that it is okay to go that route. You don't have to go and do a 4-year degree if it's not for you, and there's no shame in it, and there's a lot of pride in it, and we need you. So this is also my plug. Nationally, they're saying we need you, and locally, I am saying that we need you, our young people, to consider the trades. One of the last notes from the summit is that insurance is up quite a bit. Now, here in Wisconsin, we aren't dealing with hurricanes and we aren't dealing with forest fires. So we're not hit as badly as other parts of the country. But just think about these hailstorms we had and how much insurance companies are paying out when you watch your whole neighborhood get new roofs. I mean, that's a lot of a payout. So it is contributing to insurance prices going up. And this is really a national problem where insurance prices and premiums are going up and skyrocketing. So in summary, what is predicted by the experts for 2024? A little more inventory and less competition. But that does not mean that competition is completely going away. It will still be there. They're predicting rates to be somewhere in the 6s. And what about prices? Those are expected to stay pretty flat, and depending on your house and what it is, maybe small growth or small decline, but pretty flat overall. I'm Bethany Warnches, real estate agent with Addison Jones. I hope you enjoyed looking back at 2023 market trends and looking ahead to 2024 predictions from some of our experts at the National Association of Realtors. I hope that you'll continue to follow me throughout the year and stay up to date on what's going on here in our local market in the city of Fond du Lac.